Good evening, good morning, and good day, everyone. An Ascension progress report. Well, I began to write something up, and but perhaps I'll get to it more or less on here. So let's begin where where we're currently at, because right now we are in uh, as I said earlier today, a very, very significant level in this ascension. The level we are at now with each one's development and empowerment, this has not been obtained for a long, long time. And really, it is totally unprecedented to, everything that you are given from the human existence, as we know that. So we are at such a very impressive, beautiful, important level right now. And, sitting back here again, and I interact with many and many angels, and that's what I refer to. Everyone. That's what we are. We are angels, and I don't need to uh, defend myself in that way, and neither do any of you. You know it's true. So we do not, you don't need to defend that. You just keep doing your stuff, what you're doing. It's so important. But at this level, there are so many important things that you do need to know. And one of the most important things, morning, Whelan, one of them, and morning, everyone, and I love you all. One of the most important things right in this now that I need to get back to, that I alluded to this morning, because of where we just rose to with the shift. Uh, we were told about a week ago. I put it in that update, and uh, in that update, there were certain little things were mentioned that we have seen come to fruition. But nevertheless, the most important thing is what I was given, and that's why I put the post on, or I put out the live this morning. What we need to do is you need to be very meticulous with your thoughts and with your speech now more than ever. We suggested this, several weeks ago before the shift. It was brought up a few times, and many of you had heard this, how important it is because of what you are manifesting at this time. So getting right to the point that, yeah, you should not have within your thoughts any negativity, any darkness, anything that, if you're manifesting anything you speak about, change your mentality to positive. Like for such things, don't use I cannot or I don't know or all of these. I suggest to begin switching and saying that, something different, that you're open. And there's important reasons for that, because the moment you say you can't and you don't, when you're manifesting, well, you shut it right off, because you manifested being no, you won't, and you can't access it. So we need all of you to be open. We need all of you to be thinking, yeah, good, happy thoughts, keep happy. Uh, don't get involved in any drama or any negativity. And, if you're online, get off of it. Don't be involved in any negativity you may see. But really, what you're doing now is you're creating right in this now, you're creating a place where there is no negativity and no darkness. So meaning that it is playing out on other timelines. It's meaning that you don't need to be involved in it. Uh, with the Ascension Progress Report right now, we are at such a level that we have succeeded most of the entire mission here, and that's why you're granted, let's say, um, much more divine magic. Many of you are receiving more of your memory of all of your existences. So, and I do use levels with this because yes, there is, and I know out of compassion, all wish to say that there is no level. We're all here together, but no, there are teachers, and as soon as you have a student teacher, there is a level with this. But what's so important is, we're only teachers and students just in these short periods where everyone gets up that we're not. You don't have to teach anymore. That's coming. So, to you assist everyone up there. That's our job, our divine mission, our purpose, and we're doing it. And so many of you are falling in place to do that. But let's say it's just totally impressive. Some of you I've been engaging with physically. In the area I'm in, I'm doing quite a bit of get-togethers, and for me, without making it so, but just standing back and watching it, all I'm seeing is complete, incredible, impressive progress by by each. And I don't say that in a condescending way, by no means. I am, I proclaim what I am, and I do oversee this. It's part of what I am to watch this, and uh, as one of the overseers of the Ascension, if you will, and but being that, as most of you know, I always share back what I see, and because of certain levels we're at, sometimes that one it will not resonate what I say with ones, and I put that out, you know, several times over the past, and I do refresh it now and then because it has to be, because we have other waves of ones awakening as well. So, and where I interact, with ones that are right down, not awakened, but will soon, right up to the powerful ones that are awakened. And yes, they are powerful, and you know that as well. When you're able to do divine magic and shut this phone off. When you're able to do divine magic and see it actually occur, and you see the rest of humanity not doing that, in good ways, it does show you, yeah, you do have something more at this time, at least. But you have it for a purpose too. Hold on. So yeah, so again, there are levels. Overall, as getting back on topic, the Ascension Progress Report here, just immense progress on all levels, individually. I sit back here and I interact through private messages on Facebook, on the phone, and in the physical, and it's widespread. I'm seeing it everywhere. It's just advancement, and some, incredible leaps to um, the divine magic and more profound experiences as well. Because what occurs is you're integrating into this now um, important aspects from your other existences, like be it, perhaps another human lifetime, or let's take it further out there, your existence as one of the galactics, in the Arcturian era or Pleiadian or what have you. But what you're also doing is you're integrating those other aspects of you. And, I mentioned before that all of you are ascended masters. Yes, we are. And we are all ascended masters because when you open up to that and when you reach that level that you understand how to do it, you can connect and you do it. Let's look at Jesus. There's many of you that say, hey, you're Jesus. There's many of you that say, hey, you're Mary Magdalene. All of you are absolutely correct because you are one with the ascended masters in that aspect. So, when you feel that, you know yourself that you're one with it, but you're integrating aspects of the higher knowledge of that essence as well. So, let's quickly, to keep it simple, you got a relative understanding of what Jesus was like. And what you will find if you just look at your demeanor and your behavior, during the course of this ascension, you will see you're becoming more Christ-like. And that's because you're integrating more of that ascended master's essence. And we are not restricted to one. And I love to use Merlin because Merlin is an ascended master. It's a very real essence. And Merlin and I have a great time. But also you can connect with that essence as well, when you know how to do it, and many of you do. So what I'm saying is you're not restricted to being one ascended master. You're open to whatever you wish, and I strongly suggest do not restrict it, and own it. Say yes, you are Merlin. Say yes, you are Jesus. Say it and be it because you are. Because if you don't say it, then you're not going to be like it because you're manifesting and you're going to shut it off. And words like, grandiose or like, one thinking they're God or whatever, those are suppressive words that belong to humanity to keep one suppressed. They don't apply to you. They actually it prevents you from stepping further into your divinity and enjoying the divine good magic that comes with us, and it's what it is. So what I'm all about, what everyone is about, is empowering you and empowering anyone that watches this. This is what we're about, empowering each one back to their divinity. And there is a process with that, as each of you know that is watching this, and more that will watch it later. And that process is letting go of all the anchors, which is negative and darkness and all of these things. You let go of them, you rise. For every bit of baggage you throw out of the out of the hot air balloon. Yeah, love that. But every bit of baggage you throw out, hey, that goes higher. And that's you on your way back to your divinity, and being one with the Godhead and all of your other divine comrades there, because we have been together, in so many existences and throughout all the eras. So you're integrating that now. And what you're finding, the more open you are, and you've done your most of your inner work, and you're receiving this, what's coming along with that is extreme prowess that you do, as you know, need to practice complete discipline with it, and responsibility. And with this divine prowess, before you could have it, you had to be, let's say, you had to take out of you within the aggression, the negativity, the vengeance, the judgment. You had to take that out because the reason you had to take that out is because you're not allowed to create with those sort of things inside of you. So, if you have vengeance inside of you and these sort of things, if you were allowed to have that in you and have your powers, you'll only be creating the same thing here that you were encapsulated within. You would just stay in the cycle. That's why it's got to go. It was meant to keep you here and to keep you from your prowess. So this is why you need to leave go everything. And this is also why many of you were subjected, to extreme financial hardships here to learn you so many things. And there's individual basis with all of this. Each one is unique, but you didn't go through these experiences for nothing. And many of you watching this, you now know, yeah, it did happen for a reason. And that's so you could learn these things to, not let other things control you. There's so many reasons why it happened. And, to be on the reverse side of attacks and things like, simulations of that in the past, you had to see these things and experience them to, there's so many things I could say about that, but it was required to get you where you're at here today, so that you wouldn't want to go back to them. So if you had let's say a bad enough experience, it's much easy to detach from that old thing. Um, so on an individual basis, just immense progress, and what we did also with this new upward shift that all of you caused, by going into your divinity. And there's a lot of us up here, that are doing more of the magic now, and I know you are as well. Um, yeah, great comment, Marcine, and but nevertheless, got sidetracked. Gotta perhaps stop looking at the messages right now. So yeah, it's all for a reason, and we're up at this very auspicious time where you're actually seeing your divine magic working. And so, you've been learned and taught and all the things to let go and love each other and don't judge. And you know how important the unity is. You're beginning to see that. You knew there was strength in numbers even online, but you're seeing this in your gatherings as well. And we're also seeing with these higher levels, um, more gifts and more new things being introduced to these timelines, which is keeping it very interesting as well. One of the most recent magical things, is the dragon energies. These energies were here present, on the planet, but what we are, let's say, kind of doing, which is, it's fun and it's comical. Some of you are feeling the actual uh, dragon symptoms, if you were a dragon, and there's cool things going on with the eyes, and showing it's all very real, that it's not something made up, that it's happening. And so, kind of what we did with the divine magic to keep it kind of a low profile, uh, until you begin creating the bigger things and affecting it. This dragon energies, yes, they're already here on the planet, so we enhanced them and also brought them back, and are having fun with the magical good dragon energies. And also, many of you, you have your dragons because, one of your existences of all times was being a dragon. So for those of you that identify with the dragon, hey, you can class the dragon in as an ascended master as well, because they are. And, in these beautiful times, we are also as some of you saw before, like, and maybe wondered and asked why, when we would refer to some, Greek gods, if you will, and mythological gods, and perhaps Nordic gods, and some of these, what was considered mythological, and yeah, the unicorns and our fairies and everything. What we did is we brought those back to life, as many of you know that, because they are part of our magical realm, where even right now where we're at here, that we have a much, let's say, our interaction with them is much closer now. Before, they were kept apart. Now those walls have thinned, and there's seepage through, because we are creating that reality, and we are creators, and we bring all of these things to light. So so yeah, it's so uh, the Ascension Progress Report, yeah, to get back on track. So you know overall, in one word or a couple words, we are doing it. It is here, it is real, and we've just reached a very significant level this last week. And now, having said that, it's also looking like that, perhaps these, um, the quantum financial systems and the RVs, and and monetary alleviation and financial alleviation for most of you. It's what I'm starting to see here on this timeline is that it's looking like it's going to come through. So, and I must speak my truth. I really wanted to see us skip those timelines right to the place where, money was no longer used on the planet. But I also recognize that there are transitory timelines where, during the transition away from money and out of it, that, these are very real timelines that could come into play with the RV and what have you, because it's part of the equalization of the money, and also devaluing the money, from the rich side. So, when you devalue money and make it worth nothing, really, then, the rich doesn't have anything either, and everyone is equal, and you can move civilization and humanity through very quickly. You can progress them in a matter of days, in the blink of an eye, really. So, these, they do have placement, and they are pertinent, RVs and these sort of things. Now, I do know from some timelines and some other strong divine comrades here, is what they have given me. It's pretty well so. It's what they give. Now, well, let's see if we're on those timelines. One thing of doing that, if it resonates with you and feel good, well, say yeah. Put that in your thoughts if you wish to keep it positive, to assist in manifesting that and energizing it. And, so each does what they're guided to do, for sure. And no one of you is to, follow anyone else. What you follow is what resonates, in your guidance and your connection right back to the Godhead, to Source, to Creator, to God, and to your other divine comrades, which is absent of all of the lower human, acts and reactions. So, but what's important, yeah, you bow down to no one. You follow no one. You don't follow gurus. You don't follow teachers constantly. You only take what resonates with you from those aspects. But don't stay in a circle of constantly following a teacher or going back to a teacher. You need to embody your essences and empower yourself to go forward, so we can assist so many more that are awakening. So, it's so important. And it's good to keep up to date, but what I'm also saying, don't spend all your time, especially, looking at what I'm putting out. If you're up here in your prowess and you got your divine magic, you may wish just to feel to check in time to time. But what I strongly suggest, you have your divine gifts there now to start utilizing them in the outer world, because you're going to have a beautiful effect that it may even amaze you how strong you become. So you need to apply everything that you have out there to start creating that change to affect it. It's your interaction in that outside world is what changes it. I strongly suggest do not spend all of your time, on the computers. Don't spend all of your time researching. You're at the levels that trust your connection with all that is and trust that to receive what to do. Many of you do not need liaisons, middlemen like me. Many of you do not need this anymore. You have everything that you need to go forward and trust yourself. All you need is that trust in you and your divinity and your trust in God, your trust in Creator, whatever you wish to call it. And that's what you need to work on to strengthen if you don't have that already, because that is where your memory starts coming back from. That's when you become, the ascended masters that you were. That's when you begin to connect back to those aspects. And, there's as I mentioned earlier here in the discussion, you're not restricted to one ascended master. The way it works is that you tap in to the essence of any of them. But when you do, you can become them because the energy is compatible. So when you're at that level, that means you're compatible with that energy, be it Christ or be it Archangel Michael even. I don't wish to put restrictions on this. And yes, you are and you do Archangel Michael. Some of you do. And you're here because you can access and you can bring that energy in you, and it's a part of you doing your divine work. Don't restrict yourself on your divinity. And you bring in, it's important for lower ones that are starting to do this, that any of the angels and archangels you interact with, or any benevolent beings, always assure it's a good idea to say, Archangel of Light, or Archangel Michael of Light, Archangel Raphael of Light. This way, you're assuring that there were no other remnants of beliefs that might have had it energized the other way. So this way it keeps your path clear going forward. There is never anything to be afraid of or to really question on this. So, uh, to weed out distractions, these are just some simple little things for some of you to do that, maybe viewing that's just awakening, to assist you, to ensure you're getting the correct information on your early days of learning how to discern what is garbage and what applies to you, and these sort of things. And for you, that are watching this um, right now, one of the things is you do not need to search frantically for things you need to know. You just open yourself up and it will come to you. That is much easier that way to do. Then you always have the correct things you need at the correct time. And this holds so true now for many of you that become, so powerful here now. You know that. It's a given. You know it. It's your inner knowing now that, that it comes to you, that you don't need to go looking for it. So, great. Now, on the Ascension progress report, again around the planet, yeah, we have, looking like the RVs are coming into play, maybe a very real possible timeline here in the very near future. But having said that, we also see, I'd like to say, the outer world here, I'd like to look at it and say that it's, it's a 4D and we're up in 5D. But what we're actually doing is working on that sub level, the 4D level, at preparing it for 5D. So that as well, as far as politics and all that stuff goes, it is mundane. I'd rather not even look at it, but part of my mission here is to observe it, globally, and to see where the ascension is at overall. So what I'm seeing with it is that in the political systems, mainly the U.S., I do emphasize the importance of the U.S. because on one of those major timelines, which we are still connected to when we drop down there, is the U.S. will be the first big domino that will set off the chain reactions around the globe. So, it's good for ones that are still there looking at it, observe it neutrally, or, if you feel compelled, put your little bit of your energy into the areas you wish to tweak up. You don't need to. It's been all taken care of. We have done it. We are at, the level that we need to let it evolve now, that we don't have to put much focus on that aspect at all. We had, planted the seeds here for the implosion and the destruction of the greed aspect we've done that. So anyhow, what you may wish to do at this time is, what you may wish to do, which is probably the best, is keep working on your inner self, keep empowering that, play with your newfound gifts, your new enhanced energies, have fun with the magic, gather as you're doing, in groups. Also, there may be a flashpoint, and I did see reference to this just a day or two ago, but I will say yes, because of something that occurred several evenings ago, that, yeah, you may very well see a lot of flashpoints in areas. And what these are is the locking in of the 5D grid, bringing it right down to us in this now. So upon that locking in, it has to do with ley lines and nodules and these sort of things. So, and it's very pertinent here, because it is part of this ascension as well, to all of your events and everything that occurs in the outside world is dictated by energetic ley lines. And to just simply put it, part of the reason you are all here and I am is that these ley lines were in the past, were, let's say, kind of manipulated and distorted by mining and other